Hey everyone, welcome back. It's time for another deep dive. And today, we're going to be checking out this YouTube video by John Rasmussen. It's called Using Comprehensive Frequencies to Manifest.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, so basically he's talking about frequencies and manifestation and how it's all connected. And honestly, it got me thinking, it's a lot more complex than I initially realized. Like, I used to think manifestation was just about, like, visualizing what you want and then boom, it just, like, magically appears.
Yeah, just put it out there in the universe.
Right, exactly. But Rasmussen's video kind of like throws a wrench in that whole idea. He starts off talking about cymatics. Have you ever seen these videos where they have like sand on a vibrating plate?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And the sand forms all these like crazy geometric patterns depending on the frequency of the vibration?
Yeah, it's super trippy.
It is. And it really shows you how like sound frequencies can actually create like tangible shapes.
Right, it's like you can actually see the sound.
Yeah, exactly. And Rasmussen uses that as a starting point to talk about how manifestation through resonance is actually way more complex than we might think.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like he uses the example of trying to levitate an object using sound frequencies.
Okay.
And he says you can't just use one frequency to do it. Like you need multiple frequencies working together in a specific way to create that levitation effect.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about focusing on one desire, but understanding all the different frequencies that are at play.
Exactly. And that's where he introduces this idea of comprehensive frequencies.
Comprehensive frequencies. What's that?
So he uses this really cool analogy. He compares it to a shamanic rattle.
Okay, I'm listening.
You know how those rattles have all those little beads inside and each bead has a slightly different vibration?
Yeah.
And when you shake the rattle, all those different vibrations combine to create a specific effect.
Right, like a unique sound or energy.
Exactly.
Right.
And Rasmussen says that's kind of how it is with manifestation too. It's not just about like chanting one desire over and over again.
So you're saying instead of just like, I want a new job, I want a new job, you have to think about all the different elements that make up your dream job.
Yeah, like what kind of work do you want to do? What
Yeah.
kind of company culture are you looking for? How much money do you want to make?
All those different factors contribute to the overall frequency of your desire.
Right. It's about creating a much more holistic vision of what you want.
So it's like you're creating a symphony of frequencies instead of just playing one note.
That's a great way to put it. And Rasmussen argues that by incorporating all these different frequencies into your intention, you create a much stronger signal for the universe to pick up on.
I see. So it's like you're painting a much more detailed picture of your desired outcome.
Exactly. And it's not just about the visual aspect either.
What do you mean?
He also emphasizes the importance of incorporating feeling into your manifestation.
Okay. Yeah, emotions definitely play a big role in how we experience things.
Right. So like, let's say you're trying to manifest your dream job. He says you need to actually feel what it would be like to have that job.
Like imagine yourself going to work every day feeling excited and fulfilled.
Exactly. It's like you're tuning your own frequency to match the frequency of your desired outcome.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
So we've got the visual, the detailed picture of what we want, and then we add the feeling, the emotional frequency to amplify it.
Yeah. That's a great way to sum it up. But he doesn't stop there. He takes it even further.
Oh, really? How so?
To really illustrate how powerful these comprehensive frequencies can be, he talks about the work of this scientist named Royal Rife.
Royal Rife. I think I've heard that name before. Wasn't he doing something with frequencies and like health or something?
Yeah, so Rife believed that every disease has a unique resonant frequency.
Interesting.
And he actually built these machines that he claimed could target and destroy harmful pathogens using these frequencies.
Wow. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's like finding the right note to shatter a wine glass.
But instead of breaking glass, you're disrupting a harmful bacteria or virus.
Exactly. And Rasmussen uses this as an example to show that frequencies can be used not just for creation, but also for destruction.
Okay, so if the right frequency can destroy something harmful, could it also be used to create something beneficial?
That's exactly what he's suggesting.
Yeah.
He believes that frequencies are fundamental to like creation, transformation, and even destruction.
Wow. That's a pretty powerful concept.
It is. And if we connect that back to manifestation, it kind of makes you think
Look out.
about like what we're capable of manifesting, and we really understand how to work with these comprehensive frequencies.
So by creating this comprehensive frequency with all the details and the feeling, we're essentially sending a targeted signal to the universe.
Precisely. It's about creating this resonant field that's aligned with your desired outcome.
That's pretty fascinating.
And what's even more fascinating is that Rasmussen doesn't just limit this concept to personal desires.
Oh, what do you mean?
He actually believes that this understanding of comprehensive frequencies could be used to create positive change in the world, too.
Really? So it goes beyond just getting that dream job or finding the perfect partner.
Absolutely. He talks about how this could lead to major scientific breakthroughs or help us solve some of the biggest challenges facing humanity.
Wow. Like, are we talking about curing diseases or solving climate change with sound waves?
Well, it might sound a bit out there, but that's kind of what he's hinting at.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
It is,
Yeah.
and I think that's a good place to pause for now. We'll dive into those bigger implications in part 2 of this deep dive.
It really is mind-blowing,
Yeah.
right? Like, using frequencies to solve climate change. I mean, how would that even work?
Well, it's definitely a complex issue, but Rasmussen talks about this idea of finding the right counter frequency to neutralize a problem.
Counter frequency.
Yeah, like, those noise-canceling headphones?
Wow.
They work by introducing a specific sound wave that cancels out the unwanted noise.
Right.
So Rasmussen's suggesting that maybe we could do something similar on a larger scale, like with climate change.
So instead of fighting fire with fire, we fight a negative frequency with a positive one.
Exactly. But the challenge is figuring out what that counter frequency would be.
Yeah, because like we were talking about before, these comprehensive frequencies are made up of multiple layers.
Right. So for something as complex as climate change, we'd have to consider not just the physical frequencies of the Earth's systems.
But also the collective thoughts and feelings and actions of humanity.
Exactly. Like all those things contribute to the overall frequency.
So you're saying like our collective fear or apathy about climate change is actually like contributing to the problem on a frequency level?
It's a possibility. And conversely, maybe if we could shift our collective consciousness towards sustainability and interconnectedness, maybe that could create a positive frequency shift that could help mitigate the problem.
That's a pretty interesting thought.
It is, but let's bring it back down to earth for a second. Like, how can we as individuals actually apply this concept of comprehensive frequencies in our own lives?
Well, Rasmussen gives some practical advice. He says the first step is to get really specific with your vision.
So instead of just saying, I want to be rich, you need to really define what wealth means to you.
Exactly. Like, how much money do you want to have? What would you do with that money? How would it impact your life and the lives of others?
It's about creating a detailed roadmap instead of just a vague destination.
And don't forget about the emotional component.
Yeah.
Like, really feel what it would be like to achieve your goal.
So if you're trying to manifest a new car, for example.
Imagine yourself driving that car, feeling the excitement of owning it, the freedom it gives you.
Right. It's about aligning your emotional frequency with the frequency of your desired outcome.
Exactly. And Rasmussen also talks about the importance of aligning your intentions with a purpose that's bigger than yourselves.
So it's not just about what you want, but also how it will benefit others.
Right. Like if you're trying to manifest a successful business, think about how it will create jobs, provide value to your customers, contribute to your community.
So it's like adding a turbo boost to your manifestation by connecting it to a greater good.
Exactly. It's about tapping into a higher frequency, a sense of purpose that resonates beyond your individual desires.
Okay, so we've got the detailed vision, the feeling, and the alignment with a higher purpose. Anything else?
Of course, none of this works without action.
Right. You can't just sit around visualizing and feeling good all day. You have to actually take steps towards your goals.
Exactly. Your actions become part of the comprehensive frequency you're emitting.
So if you're trying to manifest a healthier lifestyle,
You can't just keep eating junk food and expect it to magically happen.
you have to actually start eating healthy foods and exercising.
Your actions need to be congruent with your intentions.
It all comes back to that alignment, right?
Precisely. It's about creating a cohesive frequency that encompasses your thoughts, feelings, and actions.
So to recap, we're creating this comprehensive frequency by combining a detailed vision with strong positive emotion, aligning it with a higher purpose, and then taking concrete actions to move towards our goals.
Exactly. And the amazing thing is that this concept can be applied to anything, from personal goals to global issues.
It's really about understanding that we are all energetic beings, and we have the power to influence our reality through the frequencies we emit.
And by becoming aware of these frequencies and how they work, we can start to create a more harmonious and fulfilling world for ourselves and for everyone.
This has been a really eye-opening conversation. I feel like I'm starting to see the world in a whole new way.
Me too. It's amazing to think about the potential we have to create positive change just by shifting our frequencies.
But I'm curious, what are your thoughts on all of this? Does this resonate with you?
You know, what I find most fascinating about all of this is that it bridges the gap between science and spirituality.
How so?
Well, on the one hand, we're talking about sound waves and vibrations, which are very much in the realm of science. But on the other hand, we're also talking about intention consciousness and a higher purpose, which are often associated with spirituality.
It's like these two seemingly disparate worlds are actually interconnected.
Exactly. And it reminds us that we are more than just physical beings. We are also energy beings.
And that we're all interconnected through these subtle frequencies.
Precisely. Which makes you wonder what kind of impact we're having on each other and the world around us just by being alive.
It's a powerful thought. And maybe that's a good place to pause and reflect before we wrap up in part 3.
That is a really powerful thought.
Yeah.
It's like we're all walking around emitting these frequencies, kind of like little radio towers broadcasting our thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
And those signals are interacting with everyone else's frequencies, creating this like complex energetic web.
It's like we're all part of one giant symphony orchestra.
And each of us is playing our own unique instrument, contributing to the overall sound.
Exactly. And some instruments are louder than others.
Some are more harmonious, some are more discordant.
But we all play a role in shaping the overall composition.
It makes you realize that even our smallest thoughts and feelings can have an impact.
Yeah, like a ripple effect, spreading outwards.
So if we want to create a more beautiful world,
We need to start by tuning our own instruments, by becoming more aware of the frequencies we're emitting.
and making a conscious effort to cultivate more positive vibrations.
Things like love, joy, gratitude, compassion,
Those are the frequencies that will uplift not only ourselves, but also everyone around us.
and maybe even the planet as a whole.
It's an inspiring thought, isn't it?
It is. It makes you realize that we all have the power to make a difference,
Even in the smallest of ways.
just by choosing to focus on the good, and by spreading kindness and positivity wherever we go.
And who knows? Maybe if enough of us raise our frequencies, we can actually shift the collective consciousness of humanity.
And create a world that's more peaceful, harmonious, and fulfilling for everyone.
That's the dream, isn't it?
It is. And it all starts with each one of us, taking responsibility for our own energetic output.
And choosing to be a force for good in the world.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of comprehensive frequencies. We hope you found it enlightening and empowering, and we encourage you to keep exploring these ideas and see how you can apply them to your own life. Until next time, keep those frequencies high.